In here just mentioned that Maryland's leading tackler tore his ACL. Have you ever heard of a football team that has gone through injuries like this?
It's just I haven't heard that. I knew that he got hurt last week, and I guess that's just now hitting the wire. I guess. Yep. I mean, I haven't heard that. That's incredible because he's a great football player, and it's very sad for him and obviously for their program. I mean, they've just been hit blow after blow, and you got to really respect the fact. I mean, those guys have fought hard and how resilient they are each and every week. So, a hat goes off to those guys up there, and I know Coach is really, has gone through a lot of adversity this year with them.
Have you ever heard of a team that has had this?
I have not. No, I have not. And I've heard of having one or two, but as many as they've had and the injuries they've had, especially at the quarterback position, and now this with one of the best defensive players and one of the best defensive players in the conference. There's no question on that. So I hate that for him. I have not heard that.
Have you sat back and wondered what it would be like to have to play Tig Willer at quarterback?
I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to go there. That's definitely something you don't wish on anybody.
What was the evaluation of some of your backup offensive linemen?
I thought they did really well. I thought I was very pleased with the progress of some of those guys that we've really tried to push. Some of those guys that have been battling. Second team, Isaiah Battle, for example. Isaiah, I thought he played exceptionally well. Very athletic, very physical. That was really good to see. Our challenge to him now is just he's got to remain consistent. He's got to, that from that maturity level, he's got to continue to grow up and mature and take this as a step in the right direction for him, and he's got to remain consistent, and that's the big challenge for him as well. Kaylon Davis was probably the next one in that line of being a pleasant surprise. Kaylon is I really challenged our offensive line on, I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever day Halloween was, but really challenged them all. At the end of practice, I was very disgruntled with the way that we just didn't do a few things that I thought was just lackadaisical, really lethargic, and it was I didn't sense the urgency that we needed to have, and so had an opportunity to challenge them. It was good to see. I told him I could care less if anybody got any trick-or-treat candy that night. Matter of fact, the coaches' kids were out there we were trick-or-treating with the players, and I told them I hope that the defensive kids took all the candy because they didn't deserve any of them that day. So, but it's just a challenge. Just try to get those guys something to get them going, and because we're going to need that. We're going to need that over these final 19 days that we have. And I told them at that point, I said, we're going to run the football Saturday night. We're going to start out running the football Saturday night, and we're going to put it on you guys. And if we go 3 and out, we're going to go 3 and out because we ran the ball 3 straight times. And I would be very disappointed when they got to the sidelines if that was the case. So they responded. Kaylon Davis was one of them. That was good to see. Again, Ryan Norton's gotten in. He played quite a bit. Dalton Freeman, again, has played exceptionally well. And Brandon Thomas probably had his best game. So, again, you see that as a group, a collective group. We need that. We need that right now for this final push.
This whole team's been able to play a lot of players the last couple of weeks. As much as you guys are focused on the here and now, that's got to pay huge dividends down the road.
And that's something Coach Sweeney talks about to us as a staff, is making sure that we get those guys in at any time, any opportune time that we can. It's only going to benefit us down the road. And as a coordinator, those things are hard. You get so engulfed, and as a position coach, so caught up in just in the game and the scheming and the chess match that's going on during the course of the game. But to have an opportunity to get guys in, to get them playing time, was huge. Even Cole Stout, be able to get Cole in, and he hadn't been in a while, and Zach Brooks was another one that really got in. It's really going to help us out down the road. So, again, we had a lot of guys play, and we have over the last couple of weeks, and that's, again, it does a lot for the morale too.
Did McLean play at tackle, and would you?
You know, I don't know the exact snap count on it. He did play some, did a good job. You know, he's got a lot of fundamentals, a lot of technique he's got to continue to work on, and he knows it. He's getting a lot of reps in practice. So, you know, I think he's definitely going to be a very good ball player for us.
It seems like you guys are improving as the season goes on, especially the last couple of weeks, as opposed to maybe last year when you struggled so down the stretch. What do you think has been the key to kind of?
Well, you know, a year ago we all tried to wrap our mind around why we went into a tailspin. Why were we starting to turn the ball over? Why were we playing our best football at this point in time? And you know, I kept coming back with the facts, saying that you know, we were very young. Most of those players a year ago were looking forward to the end of their high school season 1 year earlier. And the fact that Clemson hadn't been in that situation in a long time. I think, you know, one thing that really comes to mind right now is we're a veteran team. We have been in this situation before, and we have to learn from it. And I think that's been one of the things that I could say has been as much of what's going on right now as anything is the learning experience that we had from a year ago. And where our open dates fell, I think you know, it's a different attitude right now. I mean, even though last year 8-1 was a good attitude, it was different. It was you could tell our players were mentally grinding and mentally exhausted, and now trying to push them through that a year ago, but now it's totally different. I mean, you know, and I think that's our job as coaches. It's my job as offensive coordinator. Is yes, I got to continue to strain them and coach them hard, but you know, we get out there and we get our work. You know, we got to create some excitement, and I think that's the way these guys are playing. I mean, they're going to feed off of the energy that I bring to the field, and so.
Is that what you do to battle maybe any sort of complacency? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the Wake Forest game blowout, Duke a blowout. I think most people expect this Maryland game to be a blowout. Do you have to do anything to keep them from getting a little complacent?
Well, I think number one, you know, before we talk about anything with Maryland, I mean, you're talking about a defense. This is the second best defense we've seen to this point in time in the stadium. Obviously, Florida State, because we played them as our best defense. You know, and of course we'll gauge all that afterwards. But this is one of the top defenses in the country. They're ranked number 11 in the country. Their scheme is very sound. And we've got our hands full. I don't know anything about the other side of the ball because I don't watch that side, but I do know this side of the ball. We got our hands full, and they've got some very good players, and their defensive front is as sound as we've seen in quite some time. So we've got our hands full right there. But as far as the previous 2 weeks, we haven't. No, I think a lot of the experience that those guys have learned from last year is battling. You know, is taking care of any complacency. We got a long way to go to. I mean, we got so much stuff we can continue to work on. It may not look like it from y'all's angle, but from inside the doors in there's a whole lot of things that need to be worked on.
Trev, what did you take out of Taj's game the other day?
Well, I think you got to, you know, Taj is a guy that's, I think you see he's having fun.
Yeah.
I think that's number one. Yeah. He's having fun. And, you know, and a guy that has that much pressure on you as being a quarterback, because I've said it since I got here, it's a big deal to be quarterback for the Clemson Tigers. And we want it to be a big deal. You know, with that comes pressure. But, you know, he and I had a long talk at the start of I don't remember what day it was. It was early in the year. We were riding to practice together, and we just kind of talked about, you know, do you feel like you have to be perfect? You know, sometimes we all feel like we have to be perfect, and we don't. And so I feel like that way. Sometimes you have to call the perfect game. You got to be perfect, and it's not going to happen. And I said, you know, at some point you just got to go have fun and really talk to him about that. And I think you see Taj Boyd having fun. I think he's extremely accurate on his deep ball. We work on that a lot. He's confident in what he's doing, and he's running confident. I mean, I told him he actually kind of looks fast, and he said he was fast. And I said, I don't know about that, but you look fast at times. But But I think it's more confidence in it than anything.
What kind of, from what Maryland does and all, what do you think you're going to see out of them? And is this probably, one of the better challenges you've had from an offensive standpoint?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like I said, they're ranked number 11 in the country. And I think they're ranked number 2 in the ACC, behind Florida State. And yes, they're going to give you different looks. They're going to bring a lot of pressure. Their defensive front is sound. They're strong. They're big. They're going to mix up their coverages behind it and try to disguise that. But they've got a new coordinator, and their scheme is extremely sound in what they do, and he's done a really good job. Really good job. We got our hands full with him, I can tell you that.
How serious is Cole's sternum injury?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he was in meetings today, and we're going to reevaluate him this afternoon, and I think he could obviously get out there and hand the ball off and everything. I don't know. I haven't seen him throw a ball yet. He says I know he was in a lot of pain after the game, so we'll see.
Any issues with Andre?
No. I think one thing with Andre, as the game went, that's one thing we kept talking about was could he get in and play if we had to have him, and he felt like he could, and but there was no sense in pressing the issue, and I'm very proud of those guys that got in behind him. DJ Howard and Hot Rod McDowell and those guys to be able to step in and absorb the role. It was kind of a running back by committee. I mean, you saw him kind of coming in and out, rotating around, and that was good to see. Zach Brooks, I mentioned him a little bit earlier. A pleasant surprise to see him. I mean, he's only going to get better. He's just bigger, stronger, as the year goes, and looking forward for his future.
Chad, obviously the results, the proof is in the results. Do you look at maybe Taj's interceptions and worry that maybe he's sliding back to what we saw this time last year, or do you say these are completely different animals than what we saw?
Well, no, I think it's totally different.
Yeah.
I think you take his 3 interceptions. The first one, I believe, whichever one, right before half, he's just trying to make a play. 6 seconds on the clock. Don't end the half with the ball in your hands. And in the other 2, he had them open.
Yeah.
And maybe could have pulled the trigger a little bit quicker on them. Could have fit them in there, but I think that's something that he'll take and learn from. It wasn't as if he was throwing off his back foot, was making an impulse decision. Those are things that we saw last year, and that wasn't. It was just, hey, he needs to get the ball out a little quicker. The thing that I did see and was impressed with the most with Taj was his footwork in the pocket. He did a really good job of setting his rush point, and being able to step up in the pocket, allowing his routes to open up and putting a lot of velocity on the ball. I mean, the 35-yard pass to Sammy, it was about head high, and it had some smoke coming off of it. And again, that's a pass that as a quarterback, if you ever played it or coached it, those guys that make those throws are confident with it. And I think you see that with him, he's the leader of this football team, and he's playing like it, and he's demonstrating it, and like I told him today, I mean, our final 19 days, this football team will go as we go as a quarterback group.
Is footwork the biggest area where you feel like you've made progress with Taj, or is it something else?
No, I think it's his footwork, and that's something that we've really tried hard to work on, and I know he's really put a lot of emphasis on, both underneath center and in the gun, being able to be accurate with his footwork, and I think he's done a good job with that. Again, there's always room for improvement. I think it carries over to his running ability, and so.
Have you gotten into any games this year feeling that you were at a talent disadvantage, or do you feel like you've had superior players every game this season?
No, I don't really look at it that way. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, we've played some teams with a lot of talent I mean, I don't really sit and look at it that way from that angle. I mean, we'll look and see if we can't create a mismatch somewhere. But overall, we just got more talent than them. We don't have to work as hard this week. Absolutely not. No way. Because you guys flip the TV on Saturdays. Anybody can beat anybody on any given Saturday. Sunday or Friday nights. I mean, those things, it happens each week. So, no, I don't get caught up with that. I wish I could, but no, I have to worry about keeping my own place from going in flames on it. So our group is our main focus, and it's all about the Tigers when it comes to that.
You talk about your quarterback having confidence and making plays, but you as a play caller got to have the confidence to make sure he's going to be successful, don't you also?
Well, I think my job as a play caller is to make sure that he can execute what we're trying to do, and he's got to feel confident with it through the course of the week. There's things that we'll put on the board today that as we go through the course of the week, by the end of the week, we take it off because it's something he doesn't feel confident with. And so as a play caller, yeah, you have to make sure he's confident. You got to stay in great communication with him. Again, that's why we have to think so much alike. He and I got to spend a lot of time together, and to be able to feel each other out as far as what he's thinking, what I'm thinking, and his ability just to be able to communicate with me. I mean, he's got to feel comfortable enough to come over and talk to me and say exactly what he's thinking, and because I'm going to do that to him. Mm-hmm. And then we got to be able to work it out and go, okay, what's our next step? And sometimes the best thing to do is not to say anything at all. He struggles. He may have a series or so, and he's struggling. And one of the things that I've found is he don't want anybody to say anything to him. Just get away from him. And so you try to tell it. Hey, everybody, just either the players try to come up, talk to him. He's like, hey, leave him alone. He's all right. He'll figure it out. And other times he's needing that. So it's just a feel for it. But he's done a good job of nurturing that and knowing how to fix things and being able to communicate. So.
Did you envision Taj becoming this good of a runner? Effective?
I did. I really did. I felt that as long as Taj could keep his weight down, and I mean, let's just say it. I mean, he's got to. And we talk about it every day. As long as he is monitoring his body and staying in great condition, he is. He was a great runner in high school, and I think I think he's seen himself when he was unable to move around. He's seen it where he was at his best, and he's seen it to where he can't move and escape trouble or elude any type of rush. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to go back there. And I think when he sees his footwork is as good as it's been, he's as strong as he's been. And again, I think all that combined with the confidence level he has, I think it's showing out on the field because he is a good runner. He is.
I think Taj mentioned the other night that he was disappointed about just missing the total yards record for the program. What does that say when you put up 719 yards about your mentality that you're disappointed?
Well, those guys, they were coming to me on the sidelines and kind of talking to me and saying, Coach, we need 30 yards, we need 26 yards, we need 40 or whatever it was. And I'm like, look, hey, okay, we'll try to get, if it happens, it happens. But, hey, when those guys, it's just a short period of time ago when they were, everybody was just excited when you'd get a couple first downs. And, put 21 on the board. Well, those type of days, and that's, you're making progress when that's happening. When that's the expectations. Hey, look, we expect to go out, and this is what we expect to do. We've got a program, we got a system in place. It has answers. Doesn't matter what the defense does. It has answers. We've got to be able to go execute now. And I think that again, I think with it's a confidence level with all of them now. Again, we've still got a lot of stuff we got to improve on, and we can improve on. But again, I'm pleased with the way that they expect to go out and be successful.
And it's scary to think though how good what y'all guys can do if you're having a good night, a total complete night, which you haven't had yet.
Yeah, it is. That's why there's still room for improvement. There's definitely room for improvement, and be able to get those guys to put 4 solid quarters together, and it is. I mean, those guys have, and they're waiting for that night. They're excited about it, but again, they're playing to a standard that we've set. That this program is set, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Chad, what's your baseline for one of those kind of nights? Is it we score every possession? Is it we get 1,000 yards? Is it? I mean,
I'd love to score every possession. That's probably not going to happen much. I mean, I just want them to go out and perform at their best that they can be, whatever that is. I just want to win. Whether that's we gain 100 yards and we win by 1 point, we win. We'll correct all that other stuff later. There's no such thing as an ugly win. You may not play well and get a win, but we can correct all that stuff. We just want to win. And you know, obviously the excitement level that they have and what our players are doing is great, but that's you know, that's becoming the norm, and that's what it should be.
What do you think Boyd's top physical trait is as a quarterback?
What I think his top trait is, I think he's got a great arm. I think he's got a really live arm, and I think that he's smart in the fact that he understands that there's still room for improvement. His footwork, we got to continue to improve his defensive knowledge of reading coverages. That's something that's got to continue to improve. And you ask me that again next year, I'll say the same thing, because you know, defenses are constantly changing. But I think he has the ability to extend plays with his feet, and that's made him such a weapon for us this year.
So both you and he will be back next year, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Hey, where we're going.
Coach, how important is it, I know it is for the players to maybe get a record. Does somebody during the week come up to you and say, look, or you know, so-and-so made, you know, get close, because to motivate them a little bit, you know?
Well, I know Tim
Bray
Bray knows every record there is. He's the best in the business, and that's all icing on the cake. And you know, down the road, one of these days, we'll look back on it and say, hey, look, that's great. Whether it's the end of the season, we can kick back and say, man, look what we did, and look at the month of November, how we finished strong, and that's what it's about right now. Is how are we going to finish the next 19 days? All that other stuff doesn't mean anything to us. But what are we going to do the next 19 days? What are we going to do? And the only thing we can control is what are we going to do right now preparing for Maryland. A very good defensive Maryland football team right now. And, you know, and so that's the only thing we can't control. But, you know, I know since we've gotten here, obviously a lot of things have you know, Taj has set a lot of records, and that's great. And again, those will be back. You know, he can share those with his kids and friends and family members down the road. But
anything else?